Hey, how you doing? My name is Choky Chokat. This is probably the first time I've actually put out my voice. Well, not really. If you've been in the voice chats in the Saki Discord or in any of the other servers, you know what I sound like. So yeah, I'm the guy, whatever, fuck it. Anyways, this video is not about me. Okay, maybe it kind of is. But this is more of a video series that I want to do where I just talk about my involvement in the Saki community. In like Team Saki and shit. And I know some people are gonna be like, why are you doing this, huh? Like, you already said you quit the recreation for now. You're now working on it. Why are you doing this, huh? You're still trying to keep our attention or something? You want to keep that little bit of fame you got left? Kind of? No, to be honest, like, I wish I could kind of put this behind me and just like move on with my flourishing art career that's slowly growing and stuff like that. But every once in a while you have like a YouTuber with a substantial fan base who starts talking about Saki Sanobashi, and then they mention the recreation. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them, they mention the recreation and then they talk about Team Saki and show our artwork and be like, look, they're doing pretty good. I think we should talk to them. I think they're still working on it.
Maybe if we hit up Team Saki on Instagram or YouTube, we can show them there is still interest in the project.
Not knowing that we've kind of disbanded, then I get an influx of messages just like flooding and everything. So to anybody that sees this video, hopefully like everybody in the community sees this video, Team Saki at the moment is just gone. Just doesn't exist. I disbanded it for several reasons. Hopefully I can just cover it in this series, but the 4 factors that resulted in that were the lack of funds, the incompetence around the team, and the lack of communication, the community itself, and my lack of experience and skill running a team and doing animation, because I literally didn't know what I was doing when I started the team. And the fact that we lasted one whole entire year busting our asses, it's kind of a miracle, but, you know, I wasn't ready. But that I'll get to eventually. The reason I want to cover this series, several reasons in fact. Number one, I gotta upload something on my YouTube channel. I mean, I got like 1,000 followers and I'm not gonna do anything. I don't want to be that kind of animator that just, you know, goes months without saying anything. Then I upload an animation that's like 3 minutes long, disappear again, come back with another animation. I don't want to do that. I want y'all to at least get to know me, in case you happen to give a shit. Another reason why I'm uploading this is just to like, there's recently been an interest in the Saki community for documentation of the entire history of Saki Sanobashi, from like all the search groups to recreation groups to individual artists and people who really kind of left an impact in the community. And I want to contribute to that, you know, with my account. Obviously I can't speak the same for the accounts of anybody else who was involved in the recreation. I also think that the final reason I kind of want to do this is because it's sort of like a blueprint for anybody else that decides to make a recreation, whether it's Saki Sanobashi or something else, you know, just to kind of give you an idea of like what you know about rolling down in the deep. When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental what you kind of have to deal with. Now I understand that every kind of like animation project deals with like different factors, different types of people in different situations. You know, not every single, you know, recreation or animation project is going to be the same thing. But so yeah, I kind of want to set it as a blueprint, and I'm pretty sure that the people who are doing the research on the history of Saki Sanobashi are kind of doing the same thing. Like, if by the off chance that the current search team and the current recreation members and shit lose interest in this and we all decide to move on and we don't do what we're supposed to do, and a new group comes in, we can at least set the blueprint for them. Like, this is what happened, here's the stuff that occurred. Go off, fuckboy. Okay, before I start with this, I want to set some ground rules. First of all, I don't want to be dredging up any old drama, you know? Just kind of gloss over it, just talk about the important things that affected us, you know, just that. Secondly, I'm gonna try to avoid using some people's names in this, so I will try to avoid some names, probably because either I don't remember what their name was, or maybe they really don't want to be associated with it. I guess, like, to kind of explain things, I'll do at least like an overview about how everything just kind of came together, you know, and kind of the reasons why I gave up on Team Saki, and also just like updates of like what I've been up to since I got rid of the group. You know, for the few people that just happen to be interested in what I do outside of this whole thing. I understand that not everybody's gonna be into what I make outside of Saki Sanobashi. They just want to see Saki Sanobashi. And hopefully, I could maybe change that. Or not, and I'm just gonna be stuck with this association forever. That would be really fucking sad. Anyway, let's get started on this. Let's start with the first video of this series-long bitch-ass chapter. Okay, so like in the very beginning before Saki Sanobashi, I was just like a random music producer who was trying his hardest to get people to listen to his stuff. It wasn't working. I was barely getting even past like 100 views a song, you know, really just wasn't making a difference. And around that same time, like a year before that, I was finally getting into digital art, drawing anime girls and stuff like that. So I was very, very new when it came to anime, and I had no experience in animation whatsoever. So it was definitely a stupid idea. When I saw the Wang video, and it was talking about Saki Sanobashi, and I don't know what was going on in my head, but I decided to leave a comment, a stupid ass YouTube comment, where I basically said, hey guys, if you want, I can recreate this from scratch. I know a lot about 80s and 90s style anime, and I am a fucking professional at animation. Straight up lie. I didn't know nothing about that. I was lying. But for some reason, instead of being told to fuck off or whatever, bitch, or any of that stuff, people actually believed me. And people started leaving replies like, oh my god, can you really do it? Dude, that'd be so fucking awesome! You know, it's just like all these positive reactions. So I thought to myself, maybe there's something here for me, right? But I didn't really give it much thought. So I decided, you know what? Fuck it. Let's make a small title animation. Just again, I wasn't really taking this seriously, so I did a title animation, you know, that, you know, familiar font that everybody recognizes that I got off of like Google fonts, painted it red, did like all these things, made it look animated, and then I sent it to a guy on Fiverr who knew how to give it the VHS effect, and then after he gave it back and I put the yellow subtitles on, you know, in post, uploaded it on my YouTube channel, and I posted it on the Reddit, and started taking off. And immediately people started to notice it and everything, and I was like, oh my goodness, you know, like it started to get more views than I've ever experienced before, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Yay, right? I was excited. And around the same time, I remember in the Reddit post I wrote, hey, so I'm thinking about recreating this thing. It'd be cool if like anybody else was interested. And instead of people saying, yeah, I'll join your team, I got a Discord invitation. I don't remember who sent me the invitation, but I got it. I went in, and sure enough, it was a Discord group that was specifically people who also wanted to recreate this thing just like me. And they were already like 2-3 months ahead of the game, but they were so disorganized that literally it was just like a bunch of ideas being thrown around, and nobody was like slapping them together or anything like that. So I just kind of waited around for a bit to see if somebody would say something like who was the leader, who was the guy running things, and there was at least like admins, but nobody was really like taking the ideas and, you know, smushing them together. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do my best in this group. And I just started kind of like saying my ideas and saying like, hey guys, look, so I already made this title animation, it's popping off a bit, so here's some of my ideas. Like I started like just saying, okay, so I'm thinking that we should do 6 girls instead of 9 girls because you know, 3 girls would be too little, 9 girls would be too much, 6 girls, perfect. We should do this and that, and the bathroom should at least have this amount of space so we can be able to make that, you know, just really putting in the details. And before long, I started like forming my own little circle group of like people who were interested in what I had to present. But they were like people who were interested, like if we started getting into voice chats and talking to each other and like really just throwing off ideas and everything. And within just a couple hours of being invited into this Discord group, like suddenly the admins were like, you know what? You should run this thing. And I was like, okay, hold on. I just want to help out. I don't really want to be director. That wasn't my intention. But they said, no, you know how to make music, you can kind of draw, and you seem to have a pretty good idea of how to approach this. We like your ideas. You should be director. And I was like, okay. I mean, if nobody else is gonna do it, fine, right? I'll be placeholder for the meantime until somebody else does it, right? So that was when Team Saki was first formed. Now, bear in mind, around the time that Team Saki was finally created, I started to sense this sort of animosity being targeted towards me. It first started with a couple of people that were kind of dubious about who I was and everything. Like, okay, so you're just some guy that just popped out of nowhere, not really much of a presence in the internet, and suddenly you say a couple of ideas and you have a cool ass video that just happened, you got lucky with, and now you're gonna be telling us what to do? And I said, you know what? You're right. I didn't earn this. I should earn my spot before I should be telling anybody what to do. And that kind of mentality did really kind of fuck with me later on down the road. I always felt like I had to continuously prove my worth to a lot of people because I didn't really understand my worth as an artist at the time. I didn't really have a lot of confidence. But that's besides the point. Yeah. So around the same time that I started to make choices around with Team Saki, there was another artist that had popped up in the Reddit Discord. Her name was Hana Piana. She was a very talented artist. She did a couple of character designs and she posted them, and they got as much traction as my video did. And there was definitely some people that liked her because she wasn't me. And so obviously people were favoring her. Even people in my own inner circle were favoring her because she seemed to know more what she was doing, aka she could draw. Not like me, I was still shitty artist at the time. So we tried to figure out how to get her on our team. She saw that our group, while it was pretty large, was still pretty disorganized because there was a lot of people who were in the group who weren't even going to help out with the project. They were just kind of there to spit their ideas off. And she's like, I need a group of people who are actually serious about the project and are talented and know what they're doing. So she wanted like a more professional team.
I'm glad you brung it up because I've been dying to talk about it for a fucking hot minute. First of all,
and I was like, hey, so let's merge our forces and become a big group. Because one of my biggest fears was that I was going to be a part of a recreation group, but then there was going to be an even bigger recreation group that's doing way better than us, and they don't like what we have and just leave us out, and I would be left out of this, and I'd be like, damn, I missed an opportunity. So I was like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that we're like the biggest recreation group and that we get the spotlight. So eventually I left a proposal for her on Reddit, but eventually we found out that Hana Piano was in the same Discord server that we were running, so we're like, what the fuck? Get her on voice chat. So we ended up on voice chat with her. We discussed some things. I'm like, look, if you want to make your own recreation group separate from us, that's totally fine. But when it comes time for actual funding and everything, the fact that there's way too many recreation groups means that a lot of people would be, left like, well, who do I give my money to? Who's got the best recreation? And it would just complicate things. So she's like, okay, that's all right. But we got to make sure that we get like the best people. That's it. So that's fine. Hana Piano was also the same person who created the GFAP application. So there would be a server where the Team Saki members would be in. We kept the name. And there would be a Discord server where like people who wanted to join the team can sign up, showcase their portfolio, and then they wait until they get a decision. She set that up. It was a good little thing that we had going on, and they replaced me as leader and they made her leader. I was totally okay with it. I just wanted to focus on just building my reputation within the community. Start making more drawings, more concept designs, show them what I could do. Even though she became the new leader, the animosity towards Team Saki kept growing and didn't stop. And it didn't actually help with the actions of one member who was early on a member of Team Saki by the name of Mizarel. Or, as a lot of you guys know on Reddit, Bashix? That guy was an early member of Team Saki, and he had some pretty decent artwork, so we let him in. But almost immediately, they started picking fights with people, like, with other members, and, like, just being an asshole about it. I'm pretty sure that if you find some of the older members, they can vouch for it. They were being an asshole, but we were like, oh, you're still a good artist, so we're gonna try to keep you around. Just stop being an asshole. And he's like, fuck you. This is a fucking dump show. I'm out of here. He left, right? He could have just left it at that, right? Just leave the group and just leave it at that. But no, for some reason, he decided to take what he knew about our creative ideas and use that as fuel to just light the fire. And he's like, things like, guys, they have a character. Her name is Junko, but her nickname is Chunko, and she's fat, and they're gonna make fun of her for being fat because they're fat phobic. Like, it wasn't a lie what he said, but he was stretching the truth to make us look bad, and that didn't really help with the reputation we were already having. A little side note. So, the concept of a character named Junko, nicknamed Chunko because she was fat, that was an existing concept idea. But it was an idea that was before I formed Team Saki. So by the time I did take over, I said, we're not doing that. That's kind of offensive. But we could still have a fat character because, add some variety to the group, distinguishing characters. But then I later scrapped it when a certain member, who I will talk about later on, told me there wasn't really a lot of fat female characters in 80s, 90s anime. So I said, oh, I guess you're right. So we just later scrapped that idea. Even though there's still fan art to this day that depict at least one fat character because, well, it's fan art. They can do what they want. Like, it felt like there was now more people hating on us than actually supporting us. So around the same time that we were receiving this stuff, Hana was like just doing things behind the scenes. I'm not really sure what she was doing half the time because she would only update us every once in a while.
Fuck him at, cause nigga, I'm right here.
Meanwhile, I used the GFAP application to find us a scriptwriter, and I eventually found a scriptwriter by the name of Sister to Sleep, and they had like the most work done with the script, so I'm like, you know what, this is a good start. And I showed her to everybody else, they agreed, we brought her on, and we're like, okay, you do what you gotta do with the script, we're gonna be working on designs and stuff. And I remember Hana made an assignment for all the animators, including me, to do like an animation within a month. So I was doing like, concept design pieces. This is where I got my first couple designs for like Aiko, Saki, and like other characters. Some of the early designs that you see on my Instagram and stuff like that. That's where, it was around that time. And the animation that I decided to do was the one that if you guys have seen it, it's the one where like the two girls are sitting against the wall and one of the girls is like, Saki, like asking her, and then Saki turns to her with a blank face and says like, who am I, who are you, and then like eyeballs start to form, and the demon girl that everybody always talks about, right? That's the video. That was the sample animation that I presented to her at that time. It was like way back. And I remember like I used the GFAP application to get 2 voice actresses, Pick Butt, yes, that was their name, and Amelia. And I got them to do the voices so I could animate that, and it was alright, but I never got to finish that animation because, again, I didn't know how to animate. And it was already past like a month. It was already like a month and a half, and I was like, I had a barely finished animation. Everybody else didn't even animate, the people who were supposed to animate, so we were just like, we had nothing. And we tried to contact Hana over and over and over again, but she wouldn't respond. Neither did the scriptwriter. We're like, what the fuck is going on? So after like investigating about what happened with Hana, we eventually found out that she just basically decided to leave the project without notifying us. I wasn't upset.
Tu maldita madre la van a sacar pero del estudio de porno, mamagüey.
But there were some members in the team that were upset about it, and it wasn't just her. There was like already several members who just kind of stopped talking after the first 2-3 months. Like, they just kind of stopped being involved. So it wasn't just her. But because of the fact that she was the one leading the group, we were kind of like waiting for her to say something, and she just kind of left. But after considering everything that happens after this, she was probably smart in leaving early. Because I gotta say, I was not ready for what I was going to experience in the upcoming months. And that's where we're gonna leave it. Alright, so to basically close this out, I do want to mention what I've been up to since I kind of departed from Team Saki. For the first 2 months, I was mostly just drawing whatever I wanted. Just kind of like getting all this out that I've just kind of been holding in for like an entire year. Like, it's not that I couldn't draw anything else, but it's just that there was always that looming dread of like, you gotta do the Saki project, and I felt like I couldn't like freely draw whatever I wanted. So now that I was out of it, I just did whatever I wanted, drawing, building up my fan base, all that stuff. But now that we're at the 3rd month, now I kind of feel like I want to start doing something that's more streamlined, something that's more story based. So I got like 3 animation projects that I've got going on, and there's also a comic that I'm working on. And I'm kind of just like switching between them. Like 1 week I'm working on the animation, another week I'm working on the comic, and somewhere in between, if I got the time, I'll probably do a drawing here and there, maybe a commission or something. And I'm making some good money. So who knows, maybe I'll be able to get the funding out of pocket, and we might be able to start this back up sooner than later. I don't know. I'll try to update you guys about what's going on and stuff like that. Don't judge me too harshly. Please don't judge me. So that's what I've been up to. Hopefully you got, I'll be able to put out an animation on the YouTube channel pretty soon. It's nothing too crazy, nothing too NSFW, something innocent, just to kind of get more people in my channel. Do something with this channel. I don't fucking know. See ya. Whew. Okay. So I recorded this back in March, so it's not up to date. I just didn't release it because I didn't know if it was right to put out names and shit and bring this shit back up. I figured I would have some animation put out by now, but I guess that's not really gonna happen anytime soon. Okay, so what has happened since then? Well, the 3 animations or whatever has increased to about 6. I keep telling myself, hey, I'm gonna do this and that, and I'm gonna put it up, but then I don't put it up because, I don't know, I feel self-conscious about my work, and I just keep it away until I upload it for later, when I just stop giving a fuck about the project because I put my mind into another project. And I finally decided that, look, despite the fact that I want to make this like a channel dedicated to animation and stuff like that, I'm not going to be able to upload something in a couple months every once in a while. So I have to at least make something in my YouTube channel. And it's not like I'm trying to get people to come back to my channel or anything. It's just kind of more for myself, just like like a diary of sorts. Just to kind of remind myself of how far I've gotten and everything. So, fuck it. It's just therapy or something, I don't know. And, I've been really kind of thinking about my life and in what direction to take it. Because, I don't know, being cooped up in your study for almost 2 years, drawing and practicing and trying to get ahead in animation, just make a name for yourself, and then... yeah, it's kind of really made me start to think about exactly what I've been treating myself to, my declining health and my insanity, just being cooped up all the time and just not doing anything with my life besides drawing and stuff. It's just, yeah, I gotta do more with my life, I could try as hard as I can to be as good as like some of these animators and artists out here, but let's just face it, that's not exactly gonna happen. Well, not right now anyways. I mean, I've only been doing this shit for like, what, 2 years? Not bad, but it's not worth all the sacrifice. Still trying to get some projects out there, but I'm gonna I'm gonna try to like make more content that's not animated related and see where it goes. Just throw a bone out there and see if it fucking works. maybe I'll do some tutorials or some shit, or I can become a reaction channel. No, fuck that. Maybe do some video essays or something, because I've always had some thoughts about certain things, and it'd be nice to add my input into it or something. I don't know. I just don't want my channel to be like this dead place where only every half year you'll get content from me. It just doesn't really seem fair to me. I like to share my stuff. It's just, I'm just scared of how people will react to it, I guess. Like, what the fuck, dude? This is not what I came here for. At least with Twitter, I don't give a shit because it's Twitter. I don't know. I guess I'll update you later.